morning and welcome to another episode of Ocean State Aquatics TV, and today I am going to show you all of the new saltwater fish we got. So let's get into that. In case you guys didn't know, our Wakefield location does have saltwater. It is a relatively new system, so it's only been around for about a month or so, but we just added some really cool fish, so we're gonna go through and I'm gonna show them all to you guys so you guys see what we have available. So starting in this first tank here, we've got, of course, a bunch of captive bred clownfish. These were actually the first fish in here. These are locally bred from Roger Williams University, so they're amazing. Also, this week we also got some longfin fairy wrasses back there. Those guys are absolutely beautiful. If you have a reef tank, they're a great option for you. They stay relatively small, they're active, and they're just absolutely gorgeous and totally reef safe. We also have a nice big diamond goby. He's actually not new. He's been here a couple weeks, but doing fantastic. Great sand sifter. If you have a bigger aquarium and you want your sand looking nice and white, they will definitely keep it turned over. We have a really nice little melanaris wrasse back there, still juvenile colors, really beautiful wrasse species. They are a little prone to nipping at snails. They like to eat snails and sometimes some small invertebrates like little hermit crabs. But they're also really good because they'll eat on pests as well in the reef tank, so they're really great. We got some little bicolor blennies. There's two of them in there, really tiny little guys. I don't know if you'll be able to see them in the camera there. Those guys are another awesome reef safe fish. They have great personality. They love to just like perch on a rock or any kind of like hard surface. They really love power heads, and they're just really, really neat. They have a great personality. We also have some algae blennies. I know quite a few people were looking for those, so we do have them. Great algae eating fish and just really great personality as well. We have some royal grammas. Really good fish for a reef tank. They're a little bit shy to begin with, so they will typically hide out in the beginning, like probably first month or so, until they're totally comfortable and they know that you feed them and you're nothing scary. Then they'll start to come out. They are a little territorial of their space, so they'll usually pick a spot in the rocks that they really like, and that will be their place, and they will protect it. So they can be a little bit on the territorial side, but really, really great fish. We also have a little dottie back there. Again, they're very similar as far as personality goes. That one's not one of the more aggressive species, so he is still a good fish for a reef tank, but typically with dottie backs, you want to add them later on when you're setting up your tank. You know, you don't want it to be the first fish because they are territorial and they'll kind of, like I said, they'll pick a spot that they like and they'll protect that. And if your tank is small, sometimes that means the whole tank. So we have some purple firefish in there, really great reef safe fish, just really pretty, kind of self-explanatory, really cool fish. We also have a pink spotted watchman goby. We also got some little red scooter blennies in there as well. You can't see them, but they're in there. Another really cool little fish, reef safe fish, but they do require pods in the aquarium, so just keep that in mind. Make sure your tank is well established before adding one of them. All right, so in this next tank here, we have some lyre-tail Anthias. There's a male and female in there. Really awesome fish. They are totally reef safe. They do get a little bit on the bigger side, about 5 inches, and they do like to swim, so a longer aquarium would be good for them. They're actually related to the grouper. They're in the grouper family, but that does not mean they are like a grouper. They're not going to eat any fish or anything. They're actually a planktivore in the wild, so that means they eat small plankton that's in the water column. But because of that, they do need to be fed often. These guys aren't one of the trickier Anthias. You know, these guys are definitely one of the hardier species, but I still would recommend at least feeding them twice a day. They have a very fast metabolism. We have a really cute little diamond goby. If you're looking for one a little bit smaller, we do have one there. There's another melanaris wrasse. He's been here for a while, doing really, really well. There's a little mimic tang hiding back there. Those guys are really, really cool. There's actually a couple types of mimic tangs that look a little different. That's a half black mimic tang, so he's meant to mimic a half black angel. They look quite similar. If you were a fish, you would think that was a half black angel, and that's kind of the point. As they're juveniles, they look like angels, and then as they mature, they turn into a chocolate tang. Really beautiful fish, and it's really cool. It's almost like you have two fish in one. There's one little blue devil Fiji damsel in there, and we have a really beautiful ribbon eel. He's actually transitioning into his blue phase, so he has a little bit of blue on him. Really, really awesome fish. They're totally beautiful. If you haven't ever seen one, we'll get some close-ups of him. And if you want to see them swim, definitely look it up because it's really, really cool. He's probably not going to come out and swim for you today, but if you've never seen it, definitely check that out on YouTube because it's so cool, and that's where they get their name. They actually swim like this. They're one of the few eels that actually does enjoy swimming though, so because of that, I would definitely recommend at least a 5 or 6 foot tank so they can, get their energy out and swim around. They're not an eel that you'll never see. They do hide typically throughout the day, but they do come out and swim around, so they need that space. to swim. They do get relatively large. Now onto this tank here, I'll show you what we have. We have a really awesome striped dogface puffer. I absolutely love this guy. He's got such good personality. He eats really, really well. He'll come right up and eat out of your hand. Just a really overall really great fish. I would recommend a big tank for him, even though he's small right now. They do get very large, like 12 inches, so he would definitely need a 220 or larger. Fish only aquarium, he will definitely eat invertebrates. We have another big diamond goby in there. We also have a ghost sand sifting goby in here as well. He's a lot smaller right now, but they're very similar to the diamond gobies. They do a really good job sifting sand. They're just solid white, so they're really cool. Instead of having like the orange spots, it's just something a little different. They're really neat. I've got some zebra bar gobies, really good size, really beautiful fish. They are totally reef safe, really personable too. I have a couple at home, and if you put your hand in, they'll swim right into your hand. They're really cool. They are jumpers, so you definitely need a lid for them. They will jump right out of the tank. We also have really nice McCosker's flasher wrasses. This male has been flashing all morning. He is just like open, looking really beautiful, looking for food, doing fantastic. There's also a little coral beauty angel in there. They're a dwarf angel that is considered reef safe with caution. They may nip at corals. It's kind of a hit or miss. Sometimes they don't at all, sometimes they do. So it's always, you know, smart to proceed with caution with them. We've also got a really cute African Midas blenny in there. Right now he's kind of just like perched in the rock, which is what they do. But once he's more comfortable, he will start swimming around. They're one of the more active blennies. They spend a lot of time actually swimming in the water column. They're really cool. We also have a really cute, very small yellow eye spotted coal tang. He is absolutely precious. I love him. So small, and within 5 minutes of being in the tank, he was already picking at algae, you know, trying to find algae. They're great if you've got a diatom algae issue. They clean constantly. They're actually also detritivores, which is really cool. So they're really good for algae eating. Plus they're a smaller tang species, so they really only get to about 5 inches versus some of the others that get 6, 8, 10. So last but not least, we have this tank here. This is a little bit more of our bigger guys, a little more, you know, aggressive or just larger. We've got a really nice male blue jaw triggerfish. He is so gorgeous. He's doing really well. He eats fantastic. They do get big, so you know, a nice big aquarium would be best for them. I would say a minimum 150 gallons to 200 gallons would be best. They are actually considered one of the few reef-safe triggerfish. You know, I always say that with caution because they could eat your inverts, you know, and every fish is different. So, you know, always keep that in mind. But they're definitely way less prone to eating corals or anything like that. They're usually do really well in a reef setting. With that being said, we're gonna move on to the pink tail trigger, who is also one of the, sorry buddy, which is also one of the few reef safe triggers as well. This one in particular is a bit aggressive, just being honest. You know, he would probably do really well with bigger fish. He eats right out of my hand, but he is like, comes right out of the water and like he'll get you if you're not careful. But he's really cool. He's got really beautiful like greenish coloration to him. His tail's nice and pink. Just a really awesome fish. We also have a nice Fiji bicolor foxface in there. Foxface are great. They have a really good personality. Usually everyone that has one says it's their favorite fish in the tank. They're just a really cool, awesome fish. They do get large, so a nice big tank would be good for them. There's a really nice powder brown tang. He is so chunky. He eats really well. He's actually from the first shipment we got, and he's doing incredibly amazing. Just like powder blues though, they have an attitude, so you know, definitely a tang you want to add towards the end. You know, if it's going to be one of your last tangs or fish in the tank, that would be the best time to add him because he will, you know, be very territorial in the tank. We also have, last but not least, a very cute little queen chorus wrasse in there. He's kind of in transition right now. That's his juvenile coloration. They do change color as adults, but they are a reef safe with caution. They will definitely eat invertebrates. They also will turn rocks over, you know, when they're big, which they do get large. They get about 8 to 10 inches. When they do get that big, they start picking rocks up and turning things over and flipping your corals around if they're not glued down or if they're on the sand. So, I mean, honestly, they really do best in a fish-only tank, but they are a really cool fish, and the way they swim around and they're very active is just really cool. And actually, there's one more I didn't see. I'm just seeing him now. I forgot he was in there. He's a little Fiji peacock puffer. He's doing really well. He's another dwarf species of puffer. Some people will say they're reef safe with caution. They will definitely eat inverts usually. They'll eat like little hermit crabs and whatnot, but they typically will leave corals alone. But like I had said, every fish is a little different, so you definitely can't guarantee that they're not gonna touch anything. You know, you just really gotta try and see. But really cool fish and lots of personality too. Hopefully he'll come out so you guys can see him. All right guys, so one last thing before we wrap it up, I just wanted to show you a little update on the baby discus, and they are still doing fantastic. Today is a big day. Mom and Dad are going back to their tank. So now they can get a break from their babies because they definitely need it. The babies are 100% eating frozen food now. They're not really reliant on them anymore. There's a couple that still will like nibble at their slime coat, but think of it as like any other animal. They don't want to wean off their parents right away. It takes a little time. So they're already starting to show a little bit of color on their dorsal fin. It's really cute. You know, you can definitely see some red, like they're going to be just like their dad, like the pigeon. I'm really excited to see how they turn out, and we're going to keep you guys updated. I'm going to keep showing you stuff. Probably any Friday that Danny comes in and films, I'll show you guys a little update, and I'll definitely be posting on our social media. So definitely keep an eye out and come on in and check them out because nothing really beats seeing them in person because they're so cute. Thank you guys so much for watching another episode of Ocean State Aquatics TV, and you know what to do. Keep it fresh, baby.